welcome back. I don't know if this is going to be Culture Cast yet, or if it's just going to be a video because it's not going to be as long as the others. But we did want to, put something out for the quarterfinals for the FIBA tournament that have just gone on, and you know, like we keep saying, the games happen at like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the morning. It's pretty difficult to get them, especially because they don't seem to be on the old television. So we've been watching highlights and keeping up with the stats and stuff like that. So we'll be going over the quarterfinals games as well as kind of previewing the semifinals games that'll be coming up and going over the losers bracket for the teams that have lost. But we are going to start with quite a few things that have happened, some tragic, some not, kind of around the league. And I guess we'll open with condolences to the doctor for the Dominican Republic team, Vladimir Regalado. Unfortunately, passed away traveling back from Dominican Republic's final game. Dom said, or the report says that he passed away from a heart attack. So, very, very sad, and condolences to him and his family and to the Dominican Republic team. That's loss is just not it's not fun to go through. Following that, we do have Trey Murphy, who I think we've talked about once or twice on here.
Yep.
Power forward for the New Orleans Pelicans, great young player. Kind of a stretch for rebounding, stretch for interesting player, very good, and he's just getting better and better by the year. Unfortunately, however, he suffered a meniscus tear, and those, luckily, meniscus tears aren't typically like the worst thing to happen as far as knee injuries go. ACL is a lot worse to go through than a meniscus. So, hopefully, Trey Murphy can make a full recovery, and we'll be able to see him at some point, potentially even this season, or he just plays it safe and then we see him next year. But not fun, not fun to see. So again, hopefully he gets better. Following that, we do have two signings that have occurred, and we've been talking about the lulls and kind of going on around the league. Kind of just before the start of the season, there's always that month or two where nothing's really going on. Everything's pretty silent. But one of the big names that we were talking about in our free agent video is that Christian Wood was going to be a big player on the market. We were pretty unsure what his price tag could look like, who would be willing to get him. I don't think we both looked at $5 million, nor did we look at the Lakers,
Yeah.
because Christian Wood is now a Laker on a 2-year deal worth $5.7 million with the player option. We could just get right into that. Dom, what are your thoughts there?
Yeah, man. So the Lakers go out, grab another big man. Interesting signing. Like like you said, I wasn't expecting him to go to the Lakers either. But I mean, from a talent perspective, he has all the talent on the planet. Lakers, solid defense. Maybe they can hide him with AD. Maybe him and
Yeah,
AD can work together. They can hide him defensively. So it's something to look forward to. Definitely more depth for the Lakers, more, I guess, offense that could be needed at times for that team. So I think it's a pretty interesting signing. I don't have any issue with it. Lakers continue their great offseason.
yeah. That's. I mean, he's there. Like, they signed Jackson Hayes,
Yeah.
great backup big,
Yeah.
and now and they've already got AD, who, if you could get like 60 games out of Anthony Davis, you're golden.
Yeah.
And now they just got Christian Wood, who's one of the best, offensive 4 or 5s in the league.
Yeah.
Um, that's quite the tandem unit. And like you said, I think, AD has the ability to hide guys like that defensively. So we could potentially see a two man front court of that, and that's pretty
Hey,
filthy.
big time.
That is very filthy. So yeah, the Lakers, whether it's the draft, whether it's foreign scouting, free agents, they just always end up with the guys where you're like, of course they got them. Why did we not say it was the Lakers? Uh, but yeah, it just makes the Western Conference that much more packed. So
Big time.
We'll see what the Lakers look like. After the whole Russ thing with signing with the Lakers a few years back, that was like the straw that broke the camel's back for me. I know, like, free agent signings, cool, but I need to see it happen first
Yeah.
before we start saying, okay, this makes him a contender.
Yeah.
I want to see this on the court, because, right now we're like, yeah, maybe AD could hide him, but Christian Wood has been kind of never really been a defensive guy or known to really put in work on that end. So, having a Darvin Ham there, you're gonna have to earn your minutes again, just like Frank Vogel. Those are defensive guys, and you're gonna need that. So,
Yeah.
Following that, final one before we get into the FIBA stuff, Danny Green, kind of going towards that Udonis Haslem situation, going back to the Sixers, which is an interesting thing. Signing a 1-year deal, just probably for the veteran minimum. I don't know if he's going to be playing too much. Woj tweeted that Green has a strong history and relationships with several key members of the Sixers, including Joel Embiid and new coach Nick Nurse. Obviously, Danny Green playing for the Raptors in 2019 and maybe the year before that. I'm not for sure there. But he does have a lot of play time and experience with those dudes. And, I'm expecting kind of a Udonis Haslem role. What are your thoughts there?
I would expect the same thing. I mean, as of last year, he was on the Grizzlies and Cavaliers, correct? Or Grizzlies, Cavaliers, and Rockets, right?
I don't remember the Cavs.
The Cavs was at the end of the year after he got bought out
Okay.
by the Rockets because he got from the Grizzlies. They traded him to it was a Luke Kennard trade with the Clippers. It was the Grizzlies, Rockets, and Clippers, I believe.
Okay.
And I think he got sent to the Rockets. They bought him out, and then he went to Cleveland.
Okay,
And
interesting.
like we saw, he didn't play that much last year. I know he was injured in the beginning of the
Yeah.
season with Memphis, and he was it was a part of the broadcasting team for a bit. And
Oh wow.
for ESPN, I believe it was. I might be wrong. It was either ESPN or TNT. I just remember he was a part of the broadcasting team for one of those. But
Interesting.
I think he's going towards more so the Udonis Haslem role. Just a solid vet. I've only heard solid things about him throughout the week. So I mean, yeah, he's a Spurs veteran. Makes sense. I mean, yeah, like you said, I think trying to repair the situation with Embiid and having someone else there, trying to fix it in any way you can. I think this is a very low risk signing, so I have no issue with it.
Yeah, well, we've talked about many times, like, chemistry is such a huge thing, and having strong veteran leadership is pretty crucial. That's why, guys like Rudy Gay, guys like Haslam, guys like Danny Green, they just keep getting jobs even when you think they may not deserve it. And it's because they're great presences in the locker room. So, especially in a situation for the Sixers like they're in right now with James Harden, having a guy like Danny Green to kind of help rally the troops in, it is definitely a big help. So, and it's different from a Udonis Haslem situation. When Udonis Haslem does rarely come into the game, he's like a Kendrick Perkins kind of thing. You're not really expecting too much out of him. But with Danny Green, you might be getting up there, but you get a couple shots. Yeah, exactly. It's like, he still can add a little bit of something if you need him. So maybe even more value than Haslam.
Yeah.
But yeah, from there, we will just get right into the FIBA quarterfinals that just happened early this morning. Starting off, Lithuania and Serbia, man. We were talking about this being a dogfight. Serbia walking away with a 19-point win. You could get right into it. This was a big one.
So not very close. And like we mentioned, we were expecting a very much fireworks-esque game, a lot of offense, but instead it looked like Serbia just kind of walked them through the park. So you have Serbia as a team shooting 55% to Lithuania's 42%. 40% from or 41% from three for Serbia versus 32% for Lithuania, who's been shooting the lights out of the ball. So maybe Serbia defended the three well. Props for that. Lithuania 73% from the free throw line versus Serbia 66%, and straight to the assists 24 for Serbia, 21 for Lithuania. 9 offensive rebounds to 8 for Serbia. 24 defensive rebounds for Serbia to 20. 38 total rebounds for Serbia to 28. 9 steals to 3 for Serbia. So that's a big talking point there. 2 blocks for Lithuania to 1. 15 turnovers for Lithuania to 8. That's where those steals come into play. 21 fouls for Serbia to 19. And you have Serbia leading. The biggest lead they had was 25 points in this game. So like we mentioned, wasn't relatively close really. 48 points from the paint from Serbia, matching the paint. 38 points from the bench for Serbia versus Lithuania's 11. Like we mentioned, this team's deep for them. They have a lot of guys that give great minute distribution out. They get a lot of production from their bench. So that's something that we might need to look forward to for the upcoming, I think it's Canada they play, if I'm correct. They play Canada next. And they led for 30 and a half minutes of this game. So they kind of walked away with this one. It was not very close. I was expecting a much better fight, more offense than this. But, man, Serbia, I think they're a little more tough than we anticipated. I will say that.
Yeah, only quarter Lithuania even scored 20 points and was the first quarter. And that was ending the first quarter, 25-24 was their final quarter lead of the entire game. So, Serbia kind of just took over in the second quarter, shut everything down. I mean, 13 points for Lithuania, then 17, then 13 again.
Yeah.
That's pretty rough.
Yeah. And then, I mean, we'll get right to it. Ignas Brazdeikis, 11-4-2. Tadas Sedekirskis, 14-9-2. Regis Normantis, 8-3-4. Jonas Valanciunas, 11-4. And looking at this, I mean, the other NBA talent they have, Donatas Monteunas, 2-1. Rokas Jokubaitis, 13-9. And we'll get on to Serbia with Nikola Milutinov having still a very strong tournament, by the way. 9-5-2. Alexa Avramovic, 8-0-2. You have Dejan Davidovic, 18 minutes, 2-3-1. Marko Guduric, 16 minutes, 9-3-6. And just looking at it, they have so many minutes to hand out, and they're doing a great job right now. Bogdan, 21-4-3. Nikola Jovic, 8-2-2. Filip Petrusev, 17-6-2. Stefan Jovic, 11-1-5. I mean, it's just a lot of guys contributing different facets of the game. I mean, as a team right now, they're really strong, man. They're firing on all cylinders. I mean, I did not expect Lithuania to get beat like this. They've been crazy this whole tournament. They've been shooting the ball super well. They've been playing. Their offenses looked amazing, but I'm just surprised they beat them in the paint game, to be honest, because Lithuania has been killing it points in the paint wise and rebounding wise too. They dominated USA, and then just Serbia shut it down, and very strong game.
Yeah, I think the big thing you brought up was the 3-point percentage. Lithuania, I'm pretty sure it led the FIBA in.
What was it, 47%, right, or 46?
Something ridiculous like that.
Yeah,
and today 9 of 28. Yeah,
it's 30 and 10, shooting 46, 47. So it's like, they got shut down on the perimeter. So I mean, wasn't falling in. It's just I mean, it's tough to see a team that good that just beat USA. Losing that fashion to maybe, I wouldn't know if I would say a lesser team, but they're still a great team. So I mean, it's not a bad loss, of course, but it's still tough, I would say, for Lithuania.
Yeah, just sometimes you get games where it just doesn't fall. What are you gonna do?
Definitely.
And we've talked about with Serbia too. Like, they're very spread apart. However, it's definitely still kind of the Bogdan show.
Yeah.
Where we saw one game where Nikola Jovic looked like he took that next step.
Yeah.
But since then, and I think that was like game 2 of the group stage. Since then, I'm pretty sure he's kind of just been in this like 5 to 10 point range.
Yeah.
Which is not horrible.
No.
But you're looking at this dude at the moment with, again, they're not playing with Jokic. So this is, you kind of need a lot of production here. You want a guy like Nikola Jovic to really take that next step and be a big weapon for them. And we haven't seen it yet. And like you said, coming off the bench, Filip Petrusev with 17-6, getting that bench production, especially, again, only 2 guys in the starting lineup in double figures. And Stefan Jovic was the second guy outside of Bogdanovic, and he only had 11.
Yeah.
So a lot of bench production for Team Serbia. And in tournaments, man, just in general, that's huge, because you look at Lithuania, 11 points, 13, 14, 11, all in the starting lineup. Not a single guy off the bench. had 10 or more points.
Tough,
You
man.
know, yeah, you
Don't
need
win that
bench
way.
production.
You do.
So big game one there to start off the quarterfinals.
Yeah.
Moving on, just as we pretty much predicted,
Yeah.
the U.S. beat the brakes off of Italy,
Yeah.
to put it lightly,
Yeah.
100-63. If you
Yeah.
ever had, again, I relatively keep up with F1, and I do like Team Ferrari.
Yeah.
So I understand or somewhat understand the Italian sports fans kind
Oh
of
yeah.
complex of, we're 100% going to win. And then you go
Yeah.
win, and it's an absolute shit show. So
Yeah.
for Team Italy, definitely a rough game.
Oh man, they had a very rough game.
I think
Like,
the only thing you could really say again, like you were talking about it a lot in the last episode, Simone Fontecchio has just
yeah,
been
just killing it, man.
quietly going off.
Yeah.
18-5 for him, but other than that, I'll let you get right into it.
Yeah, man. So we'll get right into it, man. This is a bad one for Italy. This is a gross one. They shot 30% from the field to USA's 53%. They shot 18% from three, man, to USA's 47%. Do you have the attempts for threes?
38 for Italy, 7 of 38, 17 of 36 for Team USA.
Yeah, man, they killed them in that department, man. That is a
Yeah.
bad difference right there. We'll get into the assists. 22 for USA to 18. 9 offensive rebounds for Italy to 8. 43 defensive rebounds for USA to 24, man. 51 total
Breakfast.
rebounds for USA. 33 for Italy, man. 10 steals for Italy. 7 for USA. 6 blocks for USA to 2. 19 turnovers to 14. Tied at 17 fouls apiece. 30 fast break points for the US. 34 points in the paint for the US to 30. 57 points from the bench to 20. So we're starting to see that USA bench come alive. They've been very solid the whole tournament, but this game they truthfully showed out.
Yeah.
And 25 points from turnovers for USA to 15, 11 second chance points to 3, and USA led for 37 minutes of this game.
Yeah, we see after the first quarter, 24-14 US win. And we've talked about in this tournament, I'm not positive if it's the same with the Olympics themselves, but in FIBA, quarters are like 2 minutes shorter, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken. Yeah, so games are shorter, scores tend to be lower.
Yeah.
So a 10-point lead in the NBA feels like nothing.
No,
Like
FIBA, yeah.
2 minutes it's attainable to get back from. In FIBA, 10 points is a lot, especially again, we've talked about Team Italy. They are the lowest scoring team in this entire remaining bracket.
Yeah.
So 10 points for them is like 40.
Yeah.
Which ironically is what they lost by pretty much.
Yeah.
So just kind of a rough way to go about it. But yeah, like you said, 7 of 38 from three, 18%. And then the defensive rebounds. It was a clunk fest. And then the US got all the boards.
Take
Like,
advantage of that.
exactly.
Yeah. Like we'll get into their players. Nicolo Melli, 5-9-2. Stefano Tonut, 11-4-5. Marco Spisu, 8-1-2. Achille Polonara, 1-5-1. And Simone Fontecchio, like we said, 18-5-1. Outside of those guys, man, they had a very quiet game. They had just very little production, man. It was an ugly one, man. I mean, there's no way to put it. They got exposed. And then move on to USA. Reeves, 12-4-3. Kessler, 4-5. Triple J, 2-3. Josh Hart, 5-4-2. Anthony Edwards, 3-3-3. Bobby Portis, 7-7. Paulo, 8-5-2. Brandon Ingram, 8-4-2. You have Mikel, 24-7-1. Tyrese, 18-4-5. And Brunson, 9-2-4. So lots of diversity in the scoring margin there. And I like to see these stat lines, man. There's a lot of diversity in that. I like how everyone's adding in different ways. So that's very cool to see.
I think the nice thing for USA too is, a lot of these games, well, I wouldn't even say nice because you don't like to see it, but, Team USA likes to see it. When you blow so many teams out, you're able to play a lot more guys off your bench. So everyone pretty much stays warm. You're not like guys aren't just sitting there rotting. So, guys like Walker Kessler who haven't gotten as much run time, he gets to play. He played 10 minutes today. Cam Johnson, even though Cam Johnson was a flat 0, you still played 10 minutes. Brandon Ingram, 16 minutes. Hallie, 20 minutes. Like everybody's staying engaged.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing. Again, there teams like Serbia they're not, they're kind of knocking on the door here.
Yeah.
And you don't want to be in a situation where you go into that second unit and it's just a mess.
Yeah.
So
I'm with you on that one, man. I mean, like we said, I mean, USA, they got a test, man. They're playing Germany. So
yeah, they got some comp coming up.
definitely. So, I mean, I definitely need to see more bench production because Germany's
Yeah.
not, I
Yeah.
don't know. We'll see, man. I think USA pulls it off, but
Yeah,
I,
I agree. But Germany is they're not a slouch here.
yeah, they're not a team to play around with. And seeing they already lost to Lithuania, they're beatable. So
Yeah,
we'll see. But moving on from there, man, we got Germany and Latvia, man. This is the probably the best game of this
highlight one.
round. Definitely the
Yeah.
best game of this round, I would say. I mean, it was a grind fest from both sides. Not really great efficiency from either side. I mean,
Yeah.
straight at each other's throats. So we'll get into it. Germany 81, Latvia 79. 40% from the field for Germany to Latvia's 44%. 30% from three for Germany to 38% from Latvia. 89% from the free throw line for Germany to 80%. And assist wise, Latvia 19 to 10. Germany 14 offensive rebounds to 6. 29 defensive rebounds to Latvia to 28. And total rebounds goes to Germany at 42 to 35. 7 steals to Germany to 5. You have 3 blocks for Latvia to 0, 10 turnovers for Latvia to 8, 19 fouls for Latvia to 17, 12 fast break points for Germany to 2, and you have 36 points in the paint for Germany to 28, 44 points from the bench from Germany to 6. And that's a killer, man, right there. And then 20 second chance points for Germany to 8, and you have Germany leading this game for 23 minutes, but it did not feel like that, I will say.
Yeah, that fourth quarter is pretty nuts.
Yeah.
Latvia, I mean, literally in the final seconds had an opportunity to win the game off of a Bertens three
Yeah,
and
man.
just missed. So
Yeah.
it was 100% a grind fest, and Germany barely walked away with a win here. So um, you brought up before we started, Schroeder
Yeah.
really just having a rough night.
Bad,
And we've been talking how great he's been. He's easily
bad
been the
night.
best player for Germany.
Big time.
9-1-4 for him today. So
And I think he was
yeah,
4 for 26.
Jesus.
Yeah, so I'm telling you, man, like that's one of the best players in the tournament right now, and he's shooting 4 for 26 for a game. That's a grind fest, dude. That's a bad one.
Yeah,
I mean, we're looking at it right now. You have uh Mado Low 6-1-1, Isaac Bonga 3-3, Daniel Tice again 9-8, Mo Wagner 12-4-1, Schroeder 9-1-4, Andres Opp 13-2, Jonas Voigtman 3-7-1. You have Jonas Timon 10-7-0, and then Franz was back for this game 16-8-3. So a very strong
big
performance
game. Yeah,
first game
big
back.
return.
So yeah, and then we'll move on right to Latvia, which had a horrible production from their bench, man. Krister Zorix 4-1-2, Archers Zagars 24-2-8, Archers Kuriks 2-2-1, and you have a lot of very small minute distribution here. And then Artus Stratuins with 0-2-0. Roland Smits, who's been a very strong player for them,
Yeah,
14-1. Bertans, 22-0. Rodion Karuk, 7-10-3. Andres Gazulis, 8-5-3. So I mean, those bench points, man. That's the thing that really caught my attention right away. 6 points from the bench, man. That's a killer, man. I mean,
yeah. The interesting thing here is you see 3 guys, pretty much 4 here,
yeah,
playing 30 plus minutes, which typically
yeah,
isn't too much in the NBA. But again, in FIBA, the
yeah,
minutes tend
a
to be a
lot.
lot more spread out. So
That's they must.
heavily relying on that starting unit
Yeah,
there. So
I I
uh,
I guess so. I mean, I don't know if they didn't trust them or what, because yeah, that's really interesting. That's the first game I've really seen where they just ran the starters the whole game. And I mean, like we
yeah,
mentioned, I know they were missing Dyrus Bertans, who's a very strong performer for them. So I mean,
right.
that definitely hurts. But man, this is a not a good performance from the bench for Latvia, man.
Yeah, it's not easy to win when you only get 6 points of production from them. So
Yeah, man,
um,
that is not good at all.
yeah. Moving on to the last game of day one for the quarterfinals here. we had Canada versus Slovenia, or as always, Canada versus Luka, and it wasn't a great game, wasn't a bad game. Uh, 11-point win here for Team Canada, 100-89. Um, a lot of memes now about Shea being better than Luka, which I know you're a Thunder fan, but I'm gonna put on my Stephen A cap here and say that's blasphemy. So, but you could get right into the stats here.
Yeah, for sure, man. So you have Canada shooting 51% from the field to 44% for Slovenia, 36% from three for Canada to 48% from three for Slovenia. Do you have the attempts on the threes there?
11 of 30 for Canada, 15 of 31 for
Wow.
Slovenia.
Great performance from them shooting the ball. 84.2% from the free throw line to 81% for Slovenia winning the free throw percentage. 16 assists for Canada to 14. 12 offensive rebounds for Canada to 11, 26 defensive rebounds for Canada to 19, 38 total rebounds for Canada to 30, 6 steals for Canada to 5, 1 block for Canada to 0, 11 turnovers for Canada to 10, and 29 fouls for Slovenia to 21. Fast break points, 23 for Canada to 7, and you have 32 pay points from Canada to 26, 37 points from the bench from Slovenia to 24. And I think it was Prepelic who's been a pretty solid player for them the whole series.
Yeah.
But he had a really great game also in this. And you have points from turnovers, 22 for Slovenia to 17. So they took advantage of that very well. And you have Canada leading this game for 30 and a half minutes.
Yeah. The big thing I'm seeing here is because, the interesting thing is Slovenia shooting 15 of 31 from three and
Yeah.
Canada only shooting 11 of 30. But then you see the free throws, 19 attempts there for Slovenia, 33 for
It's big.
Canada.
It's big, man.
Yeah, and then they shot 82% from the free throw line. That's 27 points in right there, nearly 30 off of just free throws. And then the defensive rebounds,
Yeah.
19-26. I mean, Canada dominated the defensive glass there.
Definitely.
It's like, again, Slovenia shot the crap out of the ball.
Big time.
But if you can't get these rebounds, that's going to kill you. And then you start fouling because they didn't turn it over much.
No.
They got offensive boards. They shot well. It's just they got killed in the little stuff. So
I mean, like we mentioned, man, I think they just, like we said the other day, I think they ran into a better team, and it's I mean, this team it's an NBA team. I mean, you can probably run in the NBA and you're pretty good. I mean, yeah, we'll get right into it, man. I mean, you have SGA 31, 10, and 4, huge game. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, another huge performer from this game, 14, 3, and 1. Lou Dort, 2. RJ Barrett, 24, 9, and you have Kyle Alexander, 2, 0, and 1. Kelly Olynyk, 7, 5, and 4. Dylan Brooks, 14, 3, and 3. And not to mention, he did get ejected today. So that was a
man. It was him and Luka, right?
And Luka, Luka got ejected a few minutes later. So we'll move on to Slovenia. You have 26, 4, and 5. You have Jakub Sebasek, 13, 1, and 1. Bine Prepelic, 0, 4, and 2. Ziga Dimic, 2, 0, and 0. Gregor Horvat, 7, 0, and 1. Jaka Blazic, 3, 0, and 0. Mike Toby, 8, 6, and 0. Klemen Prepelic, 22, 5, and 3. Alexei Nikolic, 8, 4, and 1. And Zoran Dragic, 10, 4, and 1. So, I mean, it wasn't even like they had a horrible game from their supporting cast compared to the previous games. It's just looking at it, man. I mean, they shot very well from three, man. I think it's just not. It's just there wasn't enough firepower, obviously, compared to this team, which we knew it was going to be Luka versus all, so it was expected to go down this way. But the fact that it was this close, and I know it wasn't the scoreboard's not that it's necessarily, what's the word, like
indicative,
I guess, but we kind of had an understanding from what I was watching that Canada had a pretty good grip on this game, if that makes sense, and they kind of had things under control.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, yeah, it's just like it's tough for Luka, man. It's just the fact they don't have enough talent and where he is, and I think that's going to continue to keep going on until basketball grows more in Slovenia, or maybe there's more. I have no idea the basketball scene in Slovenia.
I,
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, any of these Euro teams, I'm
I
like,
just I don't
they,
know.
yeah, it's just this was one of those where again the little stuff kills you. You know, if you're not getting the defensive boards, if you're not, got to keep your hands to yourself when you're playing defense. If you want to play up, if you want to get aggressive, got to be
Yeah,
able to do it.
I do it
Without
smart.
and we've talked. I think one of the biggest things we talked about, and I won't be shocked if this was the biggest factor. Canada has so many athletes, just genuine and not they're all athletes, but like RJ Barrett, ferocious athlete. Dylan
Yeah,
Brooks, make the memes, but he's still an athlete. Nikhil Alexander Walker, athlete. Lou Dort, athlete.
yeah.
Shea, athlete. Like these dudes get down to the cup as much as possible, attack the rim,
I mean,
dunk the ball.
yeah,
Slovenia is sometimes, man, you play teams where it's like they go up, there's nothing you can do but foul.
yeah. No, I know.
If Zion's going up, man, what do you want me to do? You think I could
Yeah,
block him? Yeah, gonna swat him down. So,
that,
um,
yeah. I mean, that's another thing about this tournament, man. It's interesting to see different styles of basketball being played. I mean, you
yeah,
have a heavy offensive approach from shooting the three, just a more pass heavy offense from teams like this compared to an ice. Not all the teams are like this, but Canada, I would say at times have a very heavy ISO offense. I think
yeah,
USA at times have a heavy ISO offense. And I know Slovenia does, but the other teams like Lithuania, Serbia, and the other teams, they don't have the heaviest ISO offense. So it's really cool to see different ways of basketball being played in this tournament. And
yeah.
I that's like the best part to me. I personally I love that there's you can play basketball in so many different ways and you can still win in different ways. It's just a lot of strategies going on in the tournament and it's been pretty fun to see that.
Yeah, you see Canada and the U.S. in particular. You see and I would even say Germany. The very hybrid play styles. You've
Yeah,
got guys who can genuinely attack the rim. You can
big
shoot
time.
the ball. You pass the ball well. You can defend at a high level. Like there are the hybrid teams. Then there are the teams like Lithuania, where they're very good in the post, where
Yeah,
they got a lot of shooters. They space the floor well. Teams like Serbia do the same thing. Again, these Euro nations, man, they're born shooting the ball. I
yeah,
don't know what it is, but they're
yeah,
born like some of them can dunk, but
yeah.
they're not doing windmills,
No.
playing over there. So
Yeah, I'd say the best athletes I've seen in this tournament from Europe is probably Germany.
yeah, Mo Wagner is
Yeah.
just he
Oh,
surprises me every game.
dude, Franz and Mo, bro, they're
Yeah,
super athletic.
Mo's had a great tournament.
Oh,
He's
big
kind
time.
of gone under the radar as an
Yeah,
NBA player. And especially now with his brother in the mix,
yeah,
who's like, I mean, I don't think anyone would argue is clearly superior as a player, but
yeah.
I think Mo Wagner still has potential to be a great big man in
Oh,
this
no,
league.
I'm with you on that 100%. I mean,
Can
he
shoot. He could get to the rim. He's got the like Larry Markkinen kind of thing.
he
That was
does.
the biggest thing with the Jazz that surprised me with Markkinen is his ability to attack the rim, but in like a
Oh,
Larry Bird way, where it's like
very
just
athletic.
super ugly and
Yeah,
clunky. But he like Larry was able to do these like under the rim dunks, like
yeah,
behind the. It was like what the hell. But he's
yeah,
just such a long body. He's like 7 feet tall.
yeah. No, I know, and yeah, like you'd be surprised. He's very athletic. So I mean, there's
Yeah.
a lot of, yeah, no, I mean, a lot of European nations. I mean, I don't know if it's like just the growth of basketball, but there's a lot of really great athletes coming out of Europe nowadays.
Yeah. Way better than we've seen
Yes, in the
with
past,
some of these guys. Yeah.
far superior athletes coming out of Europe nowadays than compared to the past. So no, that's something to really look forward to in the upcoming tournaments. 'Cause I mean, Jovic
Yeah.
himself, he's pretty athletic, dude. So I mean,
Yeah.
you get some athletic guys in Serbia with the skill they already have there. I mean, it's interesting. There's a lot of interesting teams added to the mix in the upcoming future. Because I mean, there's a lot of teams that can still grow.
Yeah. It's going to be pretty impressive to see. Um, but moving on from there, we do have the losers bracket.
Yes.
Um, I myself am not positive on where the losers bracket goes from here, if this extends into the semifinals or if this is more so like the losers bracket is now fighting for qualification for the Olympics. Because currently the only two registered semifinals games are Serbia, Canada, and USA versus Germany.
Yeah.
So the losers bracket currently, as we see here, tomorrow or tomorrow in a few hours. Italy versus Latvia, and then Lithuania versus Slovenia at 5:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
So we've got that losers bracket matchup going. Um, they're also saying on Saturday, there's a couple more to be had. I'm not positive. That could just be like a to be. It says to be
Oh,
determined. That could
yeah,
just
I
be
see
like a
that. Loser of
if need
85.
be, almost like a game seven.
Yeah, yeah, I see you. I see that.
But yeah, the only registered ones right now are Serbia, Canada, USA, Germany. So
Okay, so what I'm seeing is they're fighting these games to get to that bracket, which you're talking about, to then get to the third place game, it looks like. I don't know. I
oh
believe
yeah, I just saw that match
maybe.
for third
I
place.
don't
Okay.
know, but when one of the teams from the four teams be fighting for the like the teams that are technically in the semis, and when the semifinalists technically fight for the three seed, the losers of the semifinals? I don't know how this works.
Yeah, I guess it's just gonna continue to be like a two drop down kind of thing
I
for
think,
one to
yeah,
get back up.
because
It's yeah, this
yeah,
has been such a weirdly structured tournament.
yeah, I don't know. I hope they, with the future going on, they hope they kind of make it more understandable.
Let's make the most complex and convoluted schedule
Yeah,
possible. Let's make it so that nobody follows what's
let's
going
grow
on.
basketball more by doing this.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
but we will get into the semifinal matchup. And like we
Yeah.
said, starting off here at 1:45 in the morning on Friday, September 8th. So everybody, man, I know you guys are up at 1:45 in the morning, ready for rearing for basketball.
Yes.
Serbia versus Canada. That's going to be hopefully a fun matchup. I don't want to see a blowout. I
I
want to
don't
see a
either.
close game, a dog fight. Serbia has been just consistently plugging away,
Yeah.
quietly plugging away. And Canada has been one of the two powerhouses, frankly, in this entire tournament, along with the US. So that's
Yeah.
going to be an exciting matchup. What are you looking for there?
Yes, I mean, like we mentioned already, man, I definitely think that seeing today how not that they struggled necessarily with a team like Slovenia, but seeing how well they shot from three, and Serbia's kind of been on a weirder trajectory from three. They've kind of been in the lower 30s for a good amount of the last few games we've covered.
Yeah.
And I think they have to catch fire here sooner than later. So maybe they can get a game like this. And they have far superior talent to Slovenia. So I think that's something to watch out for Canada. Maybe a very high powered offense next game. And that'd be cool to see a very high scoring game from both sides. But I personally see Canada having a very similar game plan. And I see a lot of heavy rim running, a lot of ISO basketball from SGA, and I we'll see. We'll see if they can stop it. They do have better athletes and better defenders to throw at players on Canada, but we will see. I do think a very similar game plan from Canada in the terms of rim running and them just smashing the mouth on the defensive side of the rebounding of the ball.
Yeah, and I think you brought up well in the Serbia Lithuania game is the production off the bench from Filip Petrushev.
Yeah,
If we could see more of that, and Marko Guduric with nines, 3 and 6 coming off the bench, and Alexa Avramovic with 8, 0 and 2.
yeah,
I mean, if you could just continue to get that production off the bench, your chances are going to heavily, heavily increase because that's where these games are kind of you kind of make or break them.
yeah. I'm with you on that one,
If
man.
the starters leave the floor, I mean, again, we saw it with Latvia, like the starters for Latvia killed it 28, 24, 14, 7. Like that's a fantastic starting five,
Yeah,
kind of box score. But then the bench was just, I mean, anemic is an understatement. So, um,
yeah. It's
yeah, Canada's got the defense. They've got the athletes. Serbia has to come out firing. The 3-point percentage needs to come up.
yeah,
Guys need to start hitting shots. And frankly, we need to see Serbia's defense
big time.
because Canada is just chock full of scoring capability. So
Yeah,
it's going to be a tough matchup, but like I said, Serbia they've just kind of been quietly plugging away.
yeah.
So we
Just
might
never know,
see
man.
some magic here.
Yeah. Hey, you never know, man. I think they're definitely an underdog, but I don't think it's as big as maybe people will think.
Yeah, again, like you brought up, Lithuania found a way to beat the U.S. If Lithuania could beat the U.S. and Serbia could beat Lithuania,
Yeah.
Serbia might be capable of beating Canada by proxy.
Hey,
So
we'll see, man. You never know. I mean, I know matchups are a thing, but
yeah,
hey, if they get that high powered offense going, like we've seen in the past. I mean, I'm interested. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I pray it's not a blowout. I think we'll
Yeah.
have a very close game on our hands, though.
And I'll just reiterate one more time. We get that game from Jovic, and
Yeah. Hey,
Serbia is
different
just a
game,
whole
man.
nother beast. Yeah.
Different game, man. Definitely.
Final game so far. Again, we still have the losers bracket to go through, or once it happens.
Yeah.
But USA versus Germany, that is going to be another fun matchup. We've been looking forward to this one.
Yeah.
Germany just has been such a good team, and of course now with Franz back, changes everything.
Dangerous.
Um, Kind of a odd off game for Dennis Schroeder here in the last game against Latvia. However, Germany still came away with the win because of Franz Wagner's return being as explosive and dynamic as it was. But U.S. man, they coming off of a handedly easy win against Italy.
Very much so, man.
This is going to be an interesting game. I'm not too sure what to think of it yet because Germany has a lot of NBA talent.
No, they do.
And that's where I think this matchup is a lot tougher because a lot of the guys they've got on Germany's team are kind of like they're tweeners in a sense. They
Yeah.
could guard multiple positions. And then you've got a guy who can hound the ball like Dennis Schroeder. So, and like we saw against Lithuania, Mo Wagner, good center.
Yeah.
These big centers that can like actually do some damage, they cause issues for the U.S., especially if Steve Kerr is unwilling to run out there with Walker Kessler or Bobby Portis.
Yeah, they're a bit of a bigger team, man. I think you're gonna have to run a center like Walker Kessler. I think we're gonna see some Walker Kessler minutes. I think it's a necessity this game because, like we've said, Johannes Voigtman, their center, he's been having a very strong tournament.
Yeah,
Ty's a bit on the undersized part, but he still plays very big for his size. And like we mentioned, man, Mo, he's been killing it the whole tournament, man. So that's
yeah,
definitely a team that I don't know if you're gonna want to go small against. We'll see. They have some very great athletes over there, and they also are able to get to the cup as well. So we will see because they're tough, man. I personally think I I'm pretty sure USA will handily beat them, but I don't know if I want to say that because
yeah.
Germany.
Both these two games feel
Yeah,
like they can either be blowouts or they could be a lot closer because we're
it's
massively
go either
underestimating the
way.
teams.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah, because I mean
it's a coin flip.
Germany's still undefeated, right? They
Yeah,
haven't
they
lost.
have
Yeah,
not.
they haven't
I think they're
lost.
the only team
Yeah,
now
they're the only
undefeated.
undefeated team. Yeah. So I mean, says a lot. Man.
Hey,
I don't know. Hey,
yeah.
I think there's a possibility. I can see this going either way, but I personally think I think USA takes care of business, but
The big thing here,
yeah,
the big thing I'm going to be looking for is the U.S. shooting from three. That's going to be, I think, the big key thing here is because again, Germany is not lacking in NBA talent. They are
no,
not lacking in scoring punch. Like they've
not
got
at
the
all.
ability to have multiple guys putting up 25, 20 points. They can hit you from all three levels. So it's going to be tough for the U.S. to stop. Again, I think they've got a ton of bodies to throw at Germany's offense, but we'll just have to see what happens there. But
Yeah, I
uh,
mean,
yeah,
Germany, man, they're shooting sixth right now in the whole tournament from three at 39%. So
that's it. And that 39%, man, that's elite. That's
that's
like, yeah, I mean, that's borderline. When a dude shoot, that's 50, 40, 90.
yeah,
That's the hallmark right there. So
yeah,
um, that's gonna wrap it up here. Like I said, kind of a quick episode. Again, I'm not positive if this is gonna be a culture casting or just a separate video in general. We'll just see. We'll be quirky tomorrow and figure it out. But a lot of interesting quarterfinals games,
yeah.
and we had some stuff around the league again. Condolences to Vladimir Regalato's family. That's very sad news. But other than that, it's been a fun couple days of basketball. A lot of stuff going on around the league, and I want to keep saying we're in a bit of a lull, but now
Pick it
I might
up.
jinx it into a Damian Lillard
Yeah,
trade. Who knows?
pick it up,
So
man. I don't know. You never know.
yeah, that's gonna wrap things up. For me though, if you have anything going on or something with your channel or anything you want to shout out.
Not too much really going on right now. Kind of just waiting for things to pick up a bit more so probably going to start doing more stuff around the middle of September to the end.
Okay.
Not really right now, but definitely in the upcoming future, there will be plenty of stuff. I mean, yeah, just keep an eye out for these games, guys. I mean, they've been really competitive and very fun. So it's good basketball being played. I know it's at really weird times, but if you can just check out the highlights, might as well do it. Take some time out of your day. It's worth it. They're very fun games.
Yeah, very much so. But that is going to wrap things up. Thank you guys for watching this. If you like the content, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. As always, In the Moment Hoops will be in the description. Go over there, leave likes, comments, and subscribe. And other than that, we got some more games. If you're up at this hour, go watch them, man. Have some fun, and we'll see you guys this weekend after they've concluded. So
Yes.
have a good rest of your week, and we'll see you then. Peace.